Welcome back, Fade to Black. Our guest tonight, Ed Nightingale. That's right. Huge presentation tonight on Leonardo da Vinci, his great work, and the Giza template. Now, we left off with 18 and 19. Now we're up to number 20, which is Madonna Lita. And let's get this kicked off here. Another incredible work. I can only imagine what we're going to see in image number 21.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. You know, they're using this template, and you know they change up different types of angles or whatever, different sizes, but they're all pretty much saying the same thing.
Let's go to, I've got it up here in Twitter. Rita just got 20 and 21 up. Madonna Lita. And see, this is what's exciting is we can look at 20 and then we know that we're going to go to 21 and go bam. All right. So here we go. You see, you know, Ed, man, what, how can this be? I mean, how can this be? This is insane to me. It's just insane.
Well, it's all very logical, and it answers so many of the questions that we've all been looking for. You know, we've been this hunt, you know, and trying to understand Giza and what's been going on, and all these things are related, and it's telling us a very simple story about where our sun came from. I mean, it's the most important thing that we would need to know as a civilization living on a planet. We need to know the seasons of the year. We also need to know seasons of the great year for our survival. We know, you know, if we didn't realize there were seasons in the year and we didn't prepare for those seasons, we probably wouldn't last long. We would run out of food. We would, you know, freeze to death or in certain places, and, you know, we would be unprepared. And there's also these seasons of the great year. That's what these people were tracking and trying to show us and understand. And understand that at certain points within this great year, there are changes.
What constellation is her face?
What constellation is her face? It's right. Well, actually, it's in Aquarius. Is right there in her eye and on her cheekbone.
That's insane to me. It's perfect.
It is, and they were planning it that way. You know, they were. It was a deliberate thing they were doing. They were trying to show you this, and they were trying to. You can bet that these guys all sat around and were talking about this too, probably just as amazed by it as we are.
And the original green circle that in like image number 5, the green circle intersecting once again right at the tip of her nose. The angle of her nose is all there, but just take it a step further and look how the constellation completely builds out her face.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
No, yeah, it's beautiful. It's the most beautiful. Again, it just adds a whole other level to the beauty of these paintings, and a level that is so much actually more important, you know. This really kind of changes art history. Anyone who sees this and understands this realizes this changes the game.
And if that isn't enough, there's three other things that I want to point out here. One is her hand on the back of the baby. Each one of those fingers is represented. That's crazy talk right there, but it's right there. Yeah. But then go and look at the feet of the baby, and look at what is actually happening there. And that is just crazy.
Yeah, they used feet and toes, and again fingers and noses and facial features. That's what they were using. The main pointing out some of the main parts. But they used all kinds of different points. There's plenty of points within this template to use, but they used ones that were relevant to this specific position and telling a certain story.
Man, her right arm, oh, that is just crazy, man. And her back and the robes. Oh, man, her left shoulder. That is just, that's incredible. Incredible. Okay. I could spend all night on this painting. We need to move on. Let's go to 22. Oh, no, you do have the Mona Lisa here.
Well, this is Isleworth Mona Lisa. This is another version. They think an earlier version of Mona Lisa. It's at a different proportion.
This is what they're calling Mona Lisa 2, right? Or Mona Lisa 1.
Yeah, I believe so.
Right,
yes, I believe that. I think they're calling it 2. Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. Oh, here we go. Let's just zap this right over.
Pull the trigger.
Pull the trigger.
Here
we go. All right. Let me get this up in Twitter really quick. I don't want to lag behind. Go ahead, Ed.
So this one utilizes, again, the 33 division of the grid. But another thing that was used in this painting, which you didn't see too much in the other paintings, if you look at her, it would be her right eye. You see the orange line that goes through her her right eye, which is right on the ecliptic. So the intersection of the ecliptic, the round circle that the constellations are on, and that orange line. That orange line is that circle divided by 5. And it's a fifth of this great year. So that position is really, really important. And it's how that actually gets indexed and positioned is even more mind-blowing. That would take a little bit of time to go into, but if you divide that circle by 5, that one is going right through her right eye.
I'm going to go back for a second. I want to see something here. Let me go in the previous. Okay, so the center, is right through the center of her chest, right at her, right above her heart. Right. Okay. Got it. I had to back up right above her heart. See it? Okay. Now I'm back on the grids. Again, incredible. When you blow up, I'm looking at this. I'm going up to a huge percentage. I'm up at like 500%, where I've got my entire screen is just her face. And the composition. I encourage
people to do that.
Right.
It gets even more mind-blowing. The harder you look at it, the more mind-blowing it is.
Well, the ratios, see, this is the thing, though. And you need to, like Ed was just saying, blow this up, because you get all the ratios from the chin to the lips to the nose to the eyes to the forehead. That's top to bottom, and then you can go left to right, the side of the faces, the ears, the eyelids, the eyes, the side of the nose, once again. The composition is absolutely deliberate. There's no question about it. The left side of the head here is completely out of control. Wow.
That makes up and actually the other Mona Lisa does the same thing. That 2012 date line, or the angle of the Sphinx or the causeway from the Great Pyramid, the yellow line there makes up her hair. That's how the composition of her hair was
now
created.
Here where I'm looking at the clock. I don't want to get behind. We need to move on to the next one, but here where Leo and Regulus and the Great Sphinx originate. Let me go back. What's the significance of that?
Where, I'm sorry, go ahead, say that.
Where Regulus and Leo and the Fibonacci originate on the Great Sphinx. Where is that originally in the painting? Oh, I see. It's right at the top of her hand.
Right at the top of her hand there. Yep.
Wow. Got it. Wow. Look at her fingers again. In the hands.
Yeah. Check out the video that I did on the other Mona Lisa. I show precisely how all her fingers on both hands were drawn. They're all done with geometry.
Well,
I place them.
That's right. Well, see, and Rita just pointed out to me. She says, classic human faces and bodies in general are built in the golden ratio, same as the academic body and the Vitruvian man. That's exactly what we're talking about here. These ratios are in play, are fully in play.
Sure, because doing a proper drawing, using those natural divisions and stuff all work together. But we can also see them in the minutia and the specific angles that really aren't necessarily in the natural, like the angles that make up the years. They're not necessarily in art, or proportions. They are more very specific in specking out the year, and the degrees in that circle.
Now let's jump ahead. Again, I'm looking at the clock, Ed. We've got a lot to do. I got to get all this in.
Keep us going, bro.
Yeah, let's keep this going. Let's go to number 24, which is Madonna and Child with Joseph. Now, this is the thing. You look at this before the grid overlay happens and looking at number 24, knowing what we know now, that you can already see it. I've already got the Ed Nightingale glasses on. I can already see this laying out and happening. So let me get this up in Twitter and boom, done. How many works of art did Da Vinci complete in his lifetime? It wasn't that many.
Yeah, I believe it's in the 20s somewhere. I looked, and some of them are a little bit disputed, and they're not sure if they were worked on by some of the students or whatever. But I think I've done in my research here. I think I've gone through about 26. I think now, I have that I've looked at.
Okay, let me ask you a question. You've got a circle. Okay, so the original painting was a circle?
Yes. The original Leonardo painting is a circle, correct. So
well, hold on. I just stay with me, Ed. Stay with me. This circle, because I've already seen image number 25, right? This circle here is the painting. You didn't edit.
Correct.
Okay. Because what happens next in image number 25 should be illegal in most countries. Okay? Bam. That's stupid, man.
Yeah, well, that's what they were doing. It's there shouldn't be anybody who's following along here really shouldn't really have too much of a doubt of what I'm showing here, and they need to contemplate the impact that this has, or the magnitude of what I'm showing here. A lot of people probably don't, but they ought to sit back, look at it a little bit, think about what I'm talking about here, and
this is
large.
Crazy.
Yeah, and this is the tip of the iceberg. I've got multiple other artists that I've done, and architecture, and other. Megalithic structures in places on the planet. It's all over. It's all in our face. It's in our cities. It's in museums. And there's a lot of people that know about this.
This is crazy.
More than you would think.
And the child. Now this is Joseph. I I'd have to go back and look. Is this Jesus or is this?
Yeah, that's it. Yes.
Who baptized Jesus?
John the Baptist.
Or is this John? Right? I think that it was all.
Well, what does it say there?
It's Madonna and Child with Joseph.
Now you got me wondering.
Yeah, but anyway, it doesn't matter. But look at the face of the child. Is any of this in any doubt about what is going on?
It shouldn't be. Yeah, it shouldn't be in any doubt. If anybody that can honestly look at what I'm showing here, there should be no doubt by now, and we're not even near done.
No. Oh man, I could look at this all day long. Every constellation is in composition on this painting. Every single one is determining something. Wow. This actual image is a good one to look at too. I want everybody just for a future image here. Just take note of the smaller circle in the bottom right corner that you can see Sirius kind of touching the edge of the circle. Right.
Okay. Well, this is a good image to show that circle, so I just wanted to point that out. This will come into play later.
Incredible. This is just absolutely mind-blowing. Okay, let's move on to number 26. Oh, here we go. See, I already see it now.
Yeah, right.
I already see it.
It's logical. You'll notice once you see a pattern, and that's what was happening with me as I realized the template had these, specific angles and patterns. I started seeing it in the art, and I just decided, hey, maybe that's what they were doing, and I was right. It was quite a moment, I got to tell you.
And this is Virgin on the Rocks. And again, is this Jesus and John the Baptist?
Yes,
they're together here. This is primed and ready to go. This is already good. You can see it, man. All right, hold on. Let me get this in here before I pull the trigger. Okay, here we go. Let's pull the trigger. Bam.
Bam.
Oh,
look at that, man. I mean, you can't make that up. Right?
No, you can't. And of course, it is about all the figures here. Virgin, which is Mary, and her right eye going down. But follow the outside circle with the Fibonacci sequences and how that fits in the. But look at the constellations. Again, it's just that is wow.
Yeah, I'd love to spend the rest of my days just doing paintings like this around stuff like that. I mean, just the level of art. I mean, it's one thing to paint a beautiful picture, but it's another to do it like this and encode this knowledge in it. It's amazing.
Now, so that's Jesus on the right, and that's John the Baptist on the left, I believe. Look, I'm not some art historian. I believe that's what's going on here. But look, let's say that's John the Baptist. Okay, everybody blow up the picture and look at, because they're the two children are looking at each other. One is in prayer and one is doing the sign, right? But look at John the Baptist's hand and the formation and the origination of the Fibonacci. And I'm telling everybody to go down and look between Leo and Regulus right there. And look at the origination of everything, the composition of the face. And you just tell me that is by accident.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that's why I want to hear somebody try to dispute this, because I don't think anybody in their right mind would, really. I mean, if they look at it enough, it would be very difficult to deny these relationships.
Wow, that is just incredible to me. It's just incredible.
Well, it's a hell of a story, Jimmy. That's all I can tell you.
Wow.
It's a hell of a story.
Okay, let me look at the clock. Let's get this up to image 28. Okay. All right. Oh man. Okay, let's go. Let's go to image number 28, which is Saint Anne, right? What,
Yeah.
Virgin Child and Saint Anne? Is that what that says?
Correct. Yeah, I believe so. Yes.
Okay. All right. Let me get this up in Twitter before I pull the trigger. I want to be blown away at the same time as everybody else is. There we go. It's up in Twitter, and let's pull the trigger.
Bang.
Yeah. Wow.
Yep.
It's once again. I see what I'm doing with each one of these, and I understand that there's a date and a time and everything else, but I'm going around and looking at the existing overlay in the background, right, each time with the golden ratio, how it intersects back into the new image. But I'd like to go around and look at each of these constellations and see how they are composited into the painting itself. That's crazy talk.
Yeah. It's again, it's amazing, and look at the placement of the feet once again, and look at the right arm of the child. And in relationship to the constellation there too. I mean,
the baby sheep. The baby sheep is completely laid out with the constellations, the entire body.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. And the nose of that is right in that. You see that the constellation there that looks like a pentagon.
Yeah.
Attached to the horn of the bull.
Mm-hmm.
That star on the tip of the horn of the bull. That star that also creates that pentagon-shaped, that's the constellation of Auriga. That is the only star in all the constellations that share two constellations. And that's also one of the closest stars to the anti-center of the galaxy.
Gotcha.
So it's all very, very precise and
wow, this is beautiful.
Explaining this whole layout of this great year.
Yeah,
the great year's got a lot more to tell us than what we've been. There's a lot of people that do work on the great year and all that, but I'm telling you, they need to look at what I've got here because this explains it all.
Well, and
it's very detailed.
Yeah, there's something else that I've noticed in the paintings. We always gravitate towards the eyes and the face and the nose and the body and the beauty of it, right? And I get that. I understand that. Okay, but I've been looking at the background, at the trees, mm-hmm. at the, what's going on in the background, and it's all there. It's not just.
There's really not much of the painting at all that isn't done specifically around a coordinate.
I mean, look at this here. Just go and look at the trees, look at the background, and it's all there. Wow, that's incredible. Okay, looking at the clock. Okay, let's see if we can get to 30 and at least get us started here. This is Benoit Madonna, and I'm looking at the eyes and the nose before I pull the trigger here.
Yeah,
and I can already see it playing out. I can already see it. Okay, here I go, everybody. It's up. Let's pull the trigger, and we've got 2 minutes. Oh, yeah.
Right.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that. That's beautiful. I mean,
it's beyond, to me, it's just beyond beautiful. It's just, this is some of the most elegant and beautiful things I've ever seen in my life. And I really take no credit for this. was done by masters, and I don't know who, or what, or when this even all originated, but it's staggeringly beautiful. I mean, it's like,
look at the
and what a story.
Yeah. And look at in the child's leg that is up on her lap, and look at the top of the thigh and the hip. And then look at the constellations going up, not only constructing, all of the child here, but look at the hands, and they just continue up all the way through. The obvious things are the yellow lines going through the eyes and intersecting at the hands, where the hands all are joined together in the center. I mean, that's just crazy to look at this. But go on the outside and look at what is happening with the constellations and the features of each point of interest in the face. The nose, the eyes, the cheeks, the ears. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Wow. Huh. Yeah, incredible. Again, the background, the halos here too. Oh man, that's it's beautiful. Her arm,
yeah,
Madonna's arm. It's wow. Her hand behind the child is one thing, because it's perfect. I mean, it's obvious. Look at the constellation behind her hand, behind the child. How that it just lays in there. But go to the other side where the Pleiades is with Taurus. Look at her elbow, the arm, the constellations, the intersection, the outside of her body. Again, the green circle from the original. Look at, oh man, that's that's incredible. Okay, I'm 30 seconds late. Let's jump to a commercial right here. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Ed Nightingale and his presentation of Leonardo da Vinci and the Giza template. Absolutely incredible evening. We'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Sorry, it's getting carried away. Playing Freebird on the Les Paul during the break. Couldn't help myself. Tonight, Ed Nightingale is here. 2019 is the 500th anniversary of the death of Leonardo da Vinci, and we are going through the great works of Leonardo using the Giza template that Ed has written about in his book, The Giza Template. And the links for everything are over at jimmychurchradio.com. And if you are following along with us, each of these images is up in Twitter. Go to hashtag F2B, and you can follow along with us. We've got a lot to go and very little time. Ed, we're going to run this right up to the end of the night tonight. You can already see this coming. We've done this every single time you've been on the show. We're at image number 32, Madonna of the Coronation. And here we go. Again, okay, so before we pull the trigger and go bam, I already know some of the things, but I want to take a look at these arches. I want to see what's going to happen with these arches in the background here. That's going to be pretty interesting. Okay, here we go. Let me get this up in Twitter. Am I going to see something in these arches, Ed?
Yeah, I think you'll see where they're positioned is relative to coordinates within the
it's
template.
Perfect. Yeah, it's
perfect.
Perfect.
Very possible too that there's certain layers of the template that I don't have activated here. So if it doesn't show on this layer, there's a very good chance it might show in another division of the grid or another part of the template, because I couldn't show it all at once. It gets a little too busy.
Right.
But
yep, it's all here. Absolutely. Wow. You just go to the center of the painting and just go out from there. It's the arms, it's the feet, it's the legs, wow, the faces, the eyes. Wow. Huh.
Yeah, you lose count of how many points of where the relevant coordinates and the artwork just in one painting, and you multiply that by how many paintings. It's so far beyond even considering it coincidence.
It's carnation, not coronation. It's carnation. Rita corrected me. I apologize for that. I don't have my glasses on. Wow. And so I wanted to look at the arches, and with the blue grid that is there on every single one, that is completely lined up with the blue grid. The top of it is perfect. Again, I keep going back to look at the constellations building her face. That is just incredible. Look at the constellation constructing the child's body all the way down. Every last bit of it, the arms, the hands, the fingers. Incredible. Her hand. Wow, man.
Yeah.
And you look at, what's really trippy about this particular painting, and I've seen it already without going backwards, but you look at the specific highlights of what Leonardo is doing here, the little drops of white paint, where he's highlighting certain parts of the painting, and there's a frigging star right there.
Yeah.
It's like, man. And you wonder if is that Leonardo or a star, and then you go, oh, holy crap, it's both.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. That's why I say that I've been looking at these for a long time, and I could sit here and look at this stuff for hours on end and just keep finding new little nuances in there that I never even noticed, the first 100 times I looked at it.
Right.
It's really amazing.
Wow, incredible. Okay, we're at 33, so let's go to 34. Oh, really? Okay, all right. Now, okay. So this is the Last Supper, and I had been wondering about this, and now to do this correctly, because this is painted on a wall, so the ratio, again, to do the overlay, the ratio is what? On the original painting to fit it onto the grid.
The width of it was the width of the square template, the 9x9, the original 9x9 template, which is then divided. He divided it up into different proportions, and he used again the 33 division of the grid for this painting, in its height and the full width of the 9x9 for the width. The height is 33 divisions, and the width is the full width of the square.
Okay. Time to pull the trigger. Okay, I'm going to blow this up. There's a lot going on here.
Yes, there is. You'll see the faces in the 33 grid.
Okay, what are the highlights for you here as I go through this?
Okay, well, if you start looking at we'll just start with the individuals' faces and stuff. You can see how they all nicely are placed within that grid of 33. And then if you start at the left side of the painting and you look at the tops of the heads of the three individuals, you can see that orange line that touched the top of the three of those, their heads. That is another division of the circle of division of 5. Remember, we looked at the Mona Lisa. She had a division of 5 going through her eye. The top of their heads are at the other division of 5. Now, let me just drop a little bit of a point here. That angle that the tops of those heads are at. If 0 degrees is at to our right side of the image where north is, and we go around 177.6 degrees, that is the angle of that division of 5. Now, if we drop the decimal point, we end up with 1776. And if you think that that's some kind of an accident or coincidence that 1776 happens to be the date of the founding of our country, you would be mistaken, because it's not a coincidence. And that we could go into a whole nother show on. The founding of our country is based upon this template. The founding fathers were aware of that. 1733 was the founding year of the Masons in America. The address of the Scottish Rite House of the template in Washington, D.C. is 1733. And again, I mentioned and showed and presented in one of the other shows I did with you that 17 degrees and 33 degrees were positions within Orion and its nebula at very, very specific points of geometry and dates of the beginning of the Hebrew year, for one. And it doesn't get any. Also, that 1733 I did mention. I did a show with you on Oak Island,
right?
And I explained to you that the beginning of the Hebrew year, the angle and position of Orion's nebula at 17 degrees and 33 degrees related to the position of the Triangle Swamp in Oak Island. And if you've been watching the show this year, that's all coming right into play, and I'm very disappointed I haven't heard anything from them about that. But this is all part of the same template. They all knew about this. This is all the Knights Templar, and Knights of the Templar is translated to Knights of the Temple, or the word temple is the word template. Temple and template are the same word, same origin. So we can fit this all together. And as we look at the Last Supper here,
let's the three disciples on the left, okay, and then there's the famous hand that shows up, right there. Now, right below the hand, to the right of the third disciple, where you have the torso there in blue, which is completely constructed by that constellation. That is freaky deaky, man.
Yeah. Well, again, it's the same thing. They were deliberately doing this. They were encoding this knowledge of this great year within these paintings. And if you look at the hands of Christ, where they're located, and
yeah, I'm there right now.
It gets there's a whole nother level to this that people might even be a little it opens a whole nother level to this. But these angles are ratios of which this whole movement takes place, and these numbers are very relevant in our life. And I'd rather maybe won't get into it tonight, but it would almost require a whole other show to get into that. But the placement of his hands are very, very important.
Well, you know what else is you know what else is going on here is first off, the start of the Fibonacci, where the doorway is. That's that. I'm going back and forth here over that, and that's pretty interesting. But when you blow this up and you go across. I encourage everybody to do what I'm doing here. Look at every plate and cup on the table.
Yep.
All the way across.
Mm-hmm.
What the...
Yeah, if you notice, the top of the table also is
the
division of the phi or Fibonacci measurement in the square there.
Well, see, I was going to bring that up, but and you can see it, right? And not only the top of the front edge and stuff. That could be just because it's elegant and it's a great painting and it's straight and it's aligned and he just had good artistic sense. Or, but I saw that. Right.
You count all the other coincidences.
Right. But it's every plate and cup all the way across the front of the table. That's crazy. That's beautiful, man. Yeah. Well, okay. Now let's go to the obvious here before we move on to 36. And now I bounced back and forth here a couple of times just to check this. Obviously, the center of everything here is at the center of this painting, which is the middle window of the background. And, of course, Jesus's head is oriented in the middle of the middle window. This has been talked about by artistic scholars for years, and it's where your eyes are attracted in this painting. But it's also placed specifically on this grid for a reason, and then you reveal the grid, and sure enough, at the very center of this painting is the alignment of the center of the grid. Now, is this because it's great artistic sense, and that was the intentional center of the painting by Leonardo, and of course it would be the center of this grid? Or is there something else that just aligns this like it is now? Because it's frigging bleeping perfect.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's probably a little bit of both. It's also beautiful in its artistic proportions, but they're also, again, showing, within this template, it's inherently got these beautiful proportions. But again, add in, all the alignments of all the cups and the plates and the heads and all the constellations, how they all line up. It's beyond chance. Look at the top of the circle of the ecliptic there. It's right at the top of the ceiling.
It's
all there.
Yep.
It's all there.
Yep. Incredible. Okay. All right, let's go to number 36, which is Bacchus.
Yes, well, I think there might be some controversy as to whether Leonardo did this or some of his underlings, but at this point, it really doesn't matter. What we're interested in is, the composition of the artwork. But I thought this was such a perfect example of what we're showing. Look at how he's pointing. Just look at his positions there. I often wondered, back before I even had an inkling on all this, I always wondered, why are they pointing this stuff? Why do these guys always paint stuff that people are pointing?
Mm-hmm. Well, okay. Before I pull the trigger, looking at the placement of this painting on the grid, I know I'm going to see some amazing alignments. I'm going to go crazy town. But why is this not centered in a specific... Why is it placed on the grid this way?
Yeah, why is... I think it's just really an artistic option and how they wanted to do it. And they could have even sketched it up and figured, well, if they want to have the guy sitting in that position and the width of it and have where his fingers would be... who knows? They might have even put the size of the canvas in after they did some preliminary sketches, or it's just artistic imagination. I think that they did all these. Just it's like if you're given this assignment in an art class, here's a template. you understand the template, the certain positions, geometry, and coordinates within the template that we're trying to, encode in these paintings. So use your imagination and come up with a drawing or painting, whatever that shows this. So it's really just, I think, just artistic.
Okay, and now some would say that, especially a painting like this, that you can reduce the size and move it around until it fits on this grid, and you just have come up with something cool, right? And I'm talking
about, we would have had to come up with something cool for a lot of pictures with a lot of points of coordinates, but we can, let's assume that.
Okay. Because the other ones are centered, right? This one is not.
Right. Not all of them.
Okay.
No, actually, they're not.
Okay.
There's several of them there that were slightly offset, not as much as this one. But
right. Okay. Let's go. I'm pulling the trigger. Come on. Okay. All right. So we've got the feet, the hands, the legs, the pointing, the angle.
And let's look at the bottom left corner of that painting.
That's where I'm looking.
The corner.
Yeah.
Okay. Look where that touches the spiral there, and right at the bottom of the edge of the painting. It would be the bottom left corner of the painting. You see where that's a very significant point on this whole thing, and that is where, if you were to, that's a 23.5 degree angle that touches the spiral, that then goes up to the left. You can see that yellow or light colored line there. That's the wall of the crow in on the Giza plateau. That's all part of this. Right. So that's the significant point on that left side of that painting, why it was put there, because it's lined up with that very significant point there.
That's incredible. Okay, let me, we got 2 minutes. Okay, so let me look at the fingers here. Yeah, that's stupid.
Pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah,
great imagination and.
Well, look at the ratios
excellent.
on the face once again. But you can't ignore the feet here, and that's both of them. The
angles of the legs,
the toes,
again.
Yeah. The knee. Look at the constellations around the feet and the knee. Wow, that's beautiful. That's
the
absolutely
angle of the
beautiful.
foot there. That's making up the other angle that points right to the sun.
Yep.
I mean, it's multiple. It's all there.
Wow, that's incredible. The right elbow, but it's the fingers, it's the palm of the hand, it is all of the fingers, it's the angle of the pointing. That's on both hands, the knuckles of the finger. Wow, man.
Yeah. The more you look, the more you're going to see.
Yeah.
And also notice the top left-hand corner of that painting touches the spiral.
Yes, I saw that. Yes, perfectly, by the way.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yes. There's no room once you look, because they used different points. It wasn't necessarily all just grid alignments for the canvas or the portrait size. It was points of which are obvious when you see it.
Well, yeah, and you know what? I keep going back to these constellations, and especially when you blow it up like I've got it here. I've got it huge, and just looking at the constellations versus the composition of the painting, this is incredible. I'm not even sure what's my favorite situation here now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're all beautiful.
Yeah, they're all really well done. Okay, we've got to take a break here in a second. I'll warm everybody up. Coming up next is oh, Rita already posted it. It's John the Baptist. Okay, thanks, Rita. I wanted to surprise everybody, but there you go. Okay, so you can go ahead and do that. We'll do John the Baptist, and we're going to take a break right here. You guys look at John the Baptist. We'll talk about it when we come back. Our guest tonight is Ed Nightingale, and come on, Ed, this ain't real.
It's just coincidence.
It can't be, man. Coincidence. It can't be. Let's take our break right here. Our guest tonight, Ed Nightingale. We are doing Leonardo da Vinci and the Giza template, all of it. And when we come back, we're going to be covering John the Baptist. This is Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and KGRA The Planet. You can follow everything that we are doing right now on Twitter. Just follow me at JChurchRadio. Hashtag F2B. We'll pick this up where we're leaving off. We've got one segment left. This is Fade to Black. Stay with us. All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Ed Nightingale. We're doing Leonardo da Vinci and the Giza template. Whew, man, the great works of Leonardo, and all of them overlaid by the Giza template. And going through this, we're up to image number 38 and 39, which is John the Baptist, a very, very famous painting. Most of these we have seen and loved before. And now with John the Baptist, one of his most famous works. I'm just going to hand this off to you. What are the highlights for you as I scan around?
Well, obviously, I mean, where he's pointing is the big deal there, and it was one of his last major piece that he did. I also think it's the most obvious one. There's really not too much that he's leaving out here. He's very specifically pointing, and he's and look at the look and expression on his face.
Aha! Yeah, it's pretty cocky. Aha! Check this out right here. Okay, so obviously, right at the exact tip of his index finger is a star. And an intersection of just about everything on this grid, by the way. What is there? What is he pointing at?
Okay, well, if you go to image 39 there, we kind of pull the trigger. That is the sun. He's pointing at the sun. That's where it is on the horizon on December 21st, 2012. That is the image of where the sun is and where it intersects. That's what all those angled lines are pointing to, is the sun. And the word sun we need to think about here in a little broader sense, and what John the Baptist was teaching, and why there was such a hubbub about what they were teaching. They were teaching this material, John the Baptist and others, and it was not looked upon favorably by the church at the time. And there's a whole other story that goes along with all this, and I think these last couple images will start making that a little bit more obvious. And look at all the paintings we were looking at. What are most of them paintings of?
Well, let's talk about that in a second. But there's a couple of other things here that are ridiculous, and that is the constellations in general, and the angle and the ratios of his face, and the angles of the eye, but then look at the constellations, because if you look at the zodiac here, if you go back to the original painting, you go back to 38, there is a very gentle arc that happens from the tip of his finger on the outside of his hand, in the shadow of his arm, around his elbow, back to his back and his shoulder. Right? Okay, so look at that gentle arch, and then go back to 39 and look at the constellations laying out perfectly his wrist, the tips of his fingers, his elbows, the outside of the arm, all the way through to the entire body is represented here.
Yeah, the ecliptic is basically his arm is shaped and goes around the ecliptic with the tip of his finger pointing at the sun on the ecliptic at that date and time.
All the way around, and the ecliptic, the ratio with the eyes and the forehead and the top of the head, the composition of the painting is that it's the ecliptic with the sun at the tip of the finger. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's incredible. That's incredible.
And again, right between his eyes, if you look at the intersection of that orange line and the yellow line, is right in between his eyes. There's actually 3 points of intersection.
3 points right there. Yeah.
It's a division of the circle of 5 once again, showing the 25,920 year of our the great year of our pole change in our pole. It's divided into 5, making them about if you divide 25,920 by 5, you get 5184, which is the angle of the Great Pyramid, but also 5,127, which is an adjusted number that we looked at on the angle. That's the white line that goes from the center of the picture up to the sun, which also goes back down and is part of a leg on that number 5 division and his shoulder.
And so now, so one would argue that looking at this painting, what was Leonardo asking you to do? Look at the finger, at what he's pointing. That's obvious. There's the eyes, the obvious in the face. But I would say it's the V. It's the V on the inside of the arm and the inside of the elbow. That is where he is asking you to look. I'm just, the obvious is the obvious, the tip of the finger, right? He's pointing at something. Yeah. Okay. And the eyes, the smirk, there's all of that, but it's the V. Okay. The V that is happening here, and the bottom of the V and the inside of the elbow is the bleeping crown of the Sphinx.
Yeah, it's the 25,920 year mark.
Wow, that is insane.
That maroon, purple line is 259.2 degrees, which is the head of the Sphinx.
Right.
And, the year of the great year.
That's
so he's
crazy.
Pointing and telling us, this is the great year, and the 12 o'clock hour on the great year, how it all aligns and it can be read and understood is by the galactic alignment, which happened in 2012.
It's right smack dab at that V.
Yeah, there's no guessing. There's no coincidence here. This is really specific.
I've looked at it extremely enlarged. That's trippy. That's trippy. There's no question about anything. Okay, let's go to number 40. Number 40, which is, it's Monday. Okay.
Salvatore Monday.
This painting was just sold.
Yes, for $450 million, I believe.
It was just sold.
And it's somewhere, not everybody's sure where it even is right now.
No, nobody knows
the news about this painting.
The anonymous buyer that ponied up $500 million for this. You and I have discussed this painting many times, and it's absolutely beautiful. It has got more symbolism in it than probably anything else that Leonardo ever did. I mean, there is tons of stuff here. All right, let's go. Let's pull the trigger. Here we go.
Okay.
Let's go. Oh, really? Okay, so wait a minute here. Okay, let me blow this up. The crystal ball is that perfectly lined up?
Yes, with the circle that I pointed out earlier in the bottom right corner.
Right.
That is the orbit of Sirius. Sirius is moving around in that circle. If we were to take that star program and we would turn the clock back 52,000 years, Sirius would no longer be in Canis Major. Sirius would be located in Canis Minor, which is around that circle. About if you were to go clockwise, it would be around there at about the 9 o'clock position, somewhere around there. I can't. Yeah, there's just a little line there. I actually have Canis Minor in there. It's just above 9 o'clock. You see a little line there. That's where Sirius would be 52,000 years ago. So that's the orbit of Sirius. They're showing us the orbit of Sirius. And also, I need to point out, and I didn't really put it in this image, but if we were to do Vesica Piscis circles on this, we would see that the Vesica Piscis, if we did the full circle, it would pass directly through Sirius. And if we did our ecliptic circle, it would pass through the nebula of Orion.
I'm going to stop you right there. This is bleeping nuts. Okay, I'm going back and forth here. I'm just clicking back and forth. The entire painting is the Giza template. Every single ratio, every Fibonacci, every constellation, everything with the face, the eyes, the chin, the nose, the mouth, the lips, the hands, the pointing, the fingers, the thumbs, the wrist, the shirt,
the curls in his hair,
the curl. Yes, every single thing is here. Now let's go up. Rita, she's got 42 here too as well. Okay, so let's jump up to 42, which doesn't have the background. It's cleaned up, and so I'm going to hand off 42 to you as I look around in amazement here.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of clean it up a little bit so we can especially look at the sphere that he's holding in his left hand. I mean, everybody that I've known that's looked at this, they always wonder about this glass ball or sphere that he has in his left hand. Well, look closely there. That is the circle that is part of the template that shows the orbit of Sirius as Sirius moves around in a circular motion on its spiral path,
which is exact the diameter.
Yes. Yeah, this is precision stuff we're talking about here.
Exact.
I challenge any professor or any expert in art or any of the subjects that we're talking about here. I challenge anyone into a debate, just a reasonable debate here. And if they have any questions, allow me the opportunity to even show more information and back up, because we're only touching on it. This is a tip of the iceberg.
Right.
And what you're seeing here is can be backed up by a lot more evidence. Any questions that might arise, I think I have the answers already in the research here. It's already complete, and I'd really like to.
But look at the face.
Look at this.
See, this is what's crazy. I mean, there's a lot crazy here. There's a lot that is crazy. But when you just start the orientation of everything, off of the face, the eyes, the center of the nose, right down through the center of the lips, the center of his chin, to the center of the painting, and then you go down, and that overlay is exact over the sphere. That's
awesome,
it's beyond words.
These people were brilliant who designed this template to begin with. I mean, it's beyond when you really try to comprehend this to its core. It's wow doesn't even come close to it.
Wow.
It's mind-boggling. You know, the chicken or the egg come first? Like, how did someone figure all this out?
Right.
And then you can see these artisans that understood it. And a lot of these guys, I shouldn't say a lot, but a number of them have figured it out all on their own. And I'm one of them. And I know there was others. Ed Lee Scowlin from Coral Castle. I should do a show with you on Coral Castle. I could show you exactly what Ed was doing there with the template. He figured it out himself, just like I did.
So this last painting, which is Raphael, the School of Athens, why this painting?
Why this painting? Because the point I was trying to make with this painting is that this was known by all these different men, Plato, Aristotle, Pythagoras. They were all in on this. And if you look at this painting, it's showing you that. And again, look close up at that, and it is, again, beyond, question of what they were all doing. These men at these schools, and, it's the ancient Egyptian mystery schools that had this knowledge. Where it came from, I don't care to get in that debate, really. But we can all agree on one thing, that whoever it was, left us some really pertinent information here that is relative in our time right now. This is what all these paintings, this template, are pointing to, this galactic alignment. And this is how, just like a clock has 12 o'clock, you need to set that marker point, and the galactic alignments are these marker points. And again, within specific geometry of this motion over the period of actually the galactic alignment is 52,000 years long, to get to that same constellation in the background with the galactic alignment would take 52,000 years. The pole takes 26,000 years to go around. So I have really would like to work with an astrophysicist here and do some calculations on the wobble of the Earth theory for the pole movement is false. It's just not backed up by measurement. I've tried for over 10 years to have somebody show me how they can measure the wobble of the Earth measured against the sun. They can't do it because it doesn't wobble against the background of the sun. And the reason is that the sun is moving in a circular motion that gives us the illusion of our pole wobbling. And
now, in this painting here by Raphael, which is not Leonardo, right? This is Raphael.
No, correct. I wanted to say that there's other artists.
But we have Apollo is here, Alexander the Great, Aristotle, Athena, right? Or Minerva. Yep. I'm looking through, but everybody is here without naming everybody that's in the painting. But let's talk about, I've got 5 minutes before we get into danger zone, and I have to roll credits. We've got some major intersections. We got the sun. Everybody knows now where the sun is, and the ecliptic and where it's represented. Again, the center of everything. I'm not talking about Regulus and the Sphinx. I'm talking about the center of everything is, again, at the center of the painting. But the ecliptic and the constellations and the zodiac are pretty interesting here. So let's see if we can get this in the next 5 minutes. Let's start with the sun.
Okay. Well, the sun is up in the it's placed in a corner there of where there's like a capital, a corner specific placement. If you look, let's see, I'm trying to see here, get blown up here. I don't have my thing blown up, but all right.
Yeah, there is a lot going on.
Yeah,
there is a lot going on.
The most obvious one you can see, which is easily seen, is look at again at the spiral down in where Regulus is, and how that spiral is. I don't have the names of the people on my copy here, but I'm not sure who the person is. Right there in the spiral, you can see there where the Leo is, and within the spiral. I mean, if you look at that, and it's just unbelievable. I think that's over on the left is Pythagoras, where his tablet, where he's writing. I mean, it's the more you look, once again, it's the same thing. You know, they're all relative. I think there's probably a few other layers that I could add to this that would give it even more alignments that I might not have in this particular grid setup.
Yeah, but the fifth angle, Leonardo, the fifth angle of the circle, right? Yep. Just bouncing off the top of everybody's heads right in a row again, in a separate painting, right? And that's
by completely different artists. So
completely different artists.
They all knew it. These guys knew it, and they were doing it in secret, and they were keeping this knowledge, passing it on in this manner. And there's really no denying it. It's there. And what we need at this point is to really, there's a lot of other researchers that would benefit greatly by understanding what I'm talking about here, that tie so many things together and answer so many questions. It just needs to be looked in a little bit more.
Yeah, but again, it's a repetition of everything that we have been talking about tonight, which is the constellations completely tying together the composition of what the painting is. And you go around here and you look at every single constellation in the zodiac, around the ecliptic, and it is spot on.
You know what I'd like to do, Jimmy? Sometime we'll do a show, and what I can do is I can actually show how each of the constellations were laid out. We can just start out with a rough template, and I can go around constellation by constellation and show you every asterism, which is a single line within those constellation, the figures there. We can show why they were using those specific stars and what they were pointing to and how they were done. I did it on the Seasons of the Great Year. I did with you. I did some of that.
Yes, we did.
We did do a little. If anybody wants to look at some of the past shows that we did, I think they'll answer a lot more questions. And I have a couple. There's an article or two on my website that you can look at. That's on Graham Hancock's site. The Leo Orion connection. That's a good article that explains a little bit more in detail this map that I'm putting forth here.
There is one thing that as I'm looking at this more and more, I'm looking at it really blown up, everybody. But if you go one of the focal points of this painting, and it's obvious, is the arch, the three arches that you see here. There's the foreground arch, then there's this middle arch, not the background arch at the center of the painting, but the intersection. I get that. But the middle arch, right, number 2, the shadow of the arch, that the alignments that are happening with that are pretty redunculous. That's incredible. I mean, it's not. You just look. It's all of the angles, all the intersections. It's at the center. It lines up with the grid. It's the top of the arch. It's the bottom of the arch. And you just look at the angles coming in from all sides. Look, the obvious things are here, right? It's the 5th degree of the circle. And it's the ecliptic, and yes, and the constellations, and you go around. But look at the arch, and so when everything else is lining up, and all of every single one of these figures has got a constellation tied to it, by the way, all the way around. But then go and look at the arch, and the arch is just sitting there perfectly lined up, the middle arch, with the rest of the math. Wow, that's incredible. Yeah. Ed, what a show tonight, my man.
All right. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I hope everybody else did. And look into it a little bit closer here. I offer, anybody wants to contact me and, dig a little deeper into this. Some experts out there that would like to know a little bit more about this. I'd like to, contact me through my website, and I hope everybody out there would be interested enough to purchase my book and have a look there. That's the foundation. I'll be out with my new book, I'm hoping within next 6 months or so. I'm just so busy at work. And
we understand that. We understand that and appreciate it. And Ed and I, if you know a curator at a museum, an art historian, a professional, certainly a professional with Leonardo and the Italian greats. If you know somebody, have them reach out to us. We are actively looking for some professionals to take a look at this very important work. We need their opinions too. So you can certainly get a hold of me. You can get a hold of Ed over at thegizatemplate.com. Ed is very accessible out there, so you can reach out to either one of us, and let's continue this exciting work. Thank you so much, Ed. What a great show tonight.
Jimmy, thank you very much. You've been a real big supporter here, and I appreciate you having me on, and I enjoy talking and hope to do so in the future.
Thank you so much, Ed. Enjoy the rest of your night. Great show tonight.
Thank you, sir.
Take
care now.
Thank you, Ed. Ed Nightingale. And with that, you knew we were going to do this. We ran right up against it. So I'm going to get out of here. We will put together a video with everything here and all of the images, and we'll get it up there as soon as we can. And there you go. In the meantime, if you're listening to this, you can go back to #F2B and see all of the images. Ed's website is thegizatemplate.com. The links are at jimmychurchradio.com. Fade to Black's executive producer is Rita Camarion. Show is produced by Hill J. Palm, Renee, Dennis, and Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vitoa, Mark D. Kovar. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and syndication is KGRA, The Planet. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2019 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Big thank you to Ed Nightingale. I'll see everybody tomorrow night for Fader Night. Open lines all night long. Until tomorrow night, everybody be safe. Go Backley Tapping.